If my wood floor is splintering, okay, I want you to explain what splintering means. Should I continue to clean it like normal or get it fixed before I continue getting it quote unquote wet? That's what the texture quote unquote wet. So you now have a gap. What's the definition of splintering?
So this is a really interesting text, David, because the issues that are being described in the text are really unrelated. In other words, the splintering really has nothing to do with whether or not this texter should or should not wash their floor.
Okay.
The other issue is, and the texter put the word wet. into quotes.
Shouldn't be doing that in the first place.
That's exactly right.
Got it.
So you should never, water and wood just never mix.
Unless you're putting a fire out.
Right. Yeah, we can talk about that.
Yeah, right. I'm sure you can attest to that. But we see this a lot where people are oversaturating their floors. They're using a bucket of water and a mop, and they're splashing water around. So that's a separate issue. And we spend a lot of time on the show, David, educating callers and listeners on the correct ways to maintain their floors.
Yep.
But the splintering issue is a separate issue. That could be structural failure of the wood planks. That's generally an age-related issue. It could sometimes be a subfloor-related issue.
Okay.
Sometimes when floors expand and contract seasonally, we're talking about gaps today.
Yep.
Those are seasonal contraction gaps. Those are not necessarily structural, and they're generally temporary. This caller is having failure of their flooring, and that's a completely separate issue. And those boards really do need to be fixed because splintering, it really is a delamination of the floor. It's a physical structural failure of the floor. And if you're walking around barefoot or in socks, there's a good chance you might injure yourself. So that definitely needs some attention. But you should never get your floors wet. That's just the bottom line.